Welcome, Wall Street Bets New. Today we're going to be taking a look at GameStop on a technical level, following up from yesterday. Mostly look at the 1 day time frame all the way down to the 15-minute, kind of see what the indicators are showing us on different levels. Additionally, we did get a few requests from yesterday to look at specific equities, so I'll be taking a look at those as well. But to start today, GameStop, we're 16 minutes into the day. It is 9:46 a.m. Eastern time, with a lot of the day to go. So I do think there's some things worth looking at today. As we can see, just a little bit of a recap, GameStop is currently in a consolidation pattern. We have been in a consolidation pattern since mid-March, so basically just over a month now. GameStop has been between this top diagonal and lower diagonal here. Now, if we zoom in here on the 1 day, yesterday we were saying that as long as GameStop is over this 154 region, we can see this middle horizontal here, this white line, that's coming in at 154.34. And as we can see over the last couple of months, there's been a lot of price action play off this area, so we know it's important. As we can see so far today, price action is actually so far selling down exactly to this area right now. And I would expect to see a bounce off of here today. That's what I'll be watching here shortly. Price action right now, only about 45 cents off of this major horizontal. So I think we're coming into a very interesting area right now that's worth watching today. So let's go down to the 4 hour time frame, see if we see anything interesting there that's worth talking about. So we can see right now the 4 hour, we're getting rejected the last few days by these 1 hour 21. This 4 hour 21 is the yellow line. We could see on April 20th a rejection or a sell off of the yellow line. Then we can see yesterday in the morning a rejection off of this, and today we're actually opening below the 4 hour 21 and now selling down. It looks like we're getting very, very close to this major horizontal support. As well, we do have oscillators, RSI crossing down. RSI is below the midline, so typically you look for in the RSI, which is a momentum oscillator, we're looking to see where the oscillator reads between 0 and 100. And typically you can measure it. There's a few different zones you can look at, and I look at the midline 50 to see how the RSI reacts off this area. And we can actually see back on April 14th a little bit of rejection from the 50 area, and again on April 19th a little bit of a rejection area. So it does seem like there is some sell pressure coming in recently on GameStop. And then today we actually see RSI crossing below its EMA. Stochastics seeing something similar. Stochastics are a little bit higher in the range, still in the bull control zone, but additionally crossing down. So we have RSI and stochastics crossing down on the 4 hour, which is a little bit concerning, but as long as price action's above the support, I'm not too concerned for the downside. Now let's go down to the 1 hour. So the 1 hour, we can see so far today the selling has been kind of brutal. An open this morning at 159 and a low today of 154.55. So just in the first 19 minutes of trading, selling down about $5, a little bit more than 2%, right back down to this horizontal that we are paying attention to at 154.34. The oscillators on the 1 hour look kind of similar. We can see RSI crossing down around the midline and stochastics crossing down a bit lower in the range. But to see the oscillators on both the 1 hour and the 4 hour crossing down is certainly a little bit concerning. Now let's take a look at the 15-minute to really take a look zoomed in. And it's quite interesting because we could actually see so far on this 15-minute candle, we can see this wick down to this horizontal. And we can see it wicked all the way down to 154.55 and is up about 55 cents in about 1 or 2 minutes off of this bounce. So we can certainly see so far that we are seeing some buyers come in around this area. So if you are looking to buy, 154 on a technical level is probably going to be a very good place in regards to risk reward. Now you always obviously want to have your stop loss close, but even just look at that. Well, that's quite impressive. Let's zoom into the 1 minute so to really emphasize what we're seeing here, right? We see price action get close to the 154 horizontal support, which we know is going to be major support. We're going to see some big buying in there. And in 2 minutes, we bounce from 154.55 all the way up to 156.20, right? So almost a bounce of over 1% in just 2 minutes off of this major area, right? So knowing where these horizontal supports and resistance are can be extremely important, as they can be very, very good buy zones. So I would continue to watch today, see do we continue to find support off this area. If we do this morning, as we watched live, could have been the time to buy as we got a retest of that 154 area. So now I'm going to take some time to look at BCRX, which is a request we got yesterday. Let's take a look at BCRX on the 1 day time frame. So this is BioCryst Pharmaceuticals, or Let's take a zoom out on the chart here. This is not an equity that I'm too familiar with, but we did get a request for it yesterday, and I will, if there's any tickers or stocks that you are also interested in me taking a look at, please feel free to put them in the comments, and I will take a look on tomorrow's live stream. So overall, this is looking quite constructive. We can see here that it did have a very, very nice pump from November of last year until March of this year, so just last month. A little bit of a sell-off, but we did find major support on this one-day 100. That's this teal moving average. And since then, we've bounced very, very strongly off this one-day 100, just in a few days, running from 931 all the way up to 1139, which is over a 20% move in 3 days. And since then, we've come back down, tested the one-day 21, and bounced. So overall, constructive price action. We're seeing support, a break of resistance, and a test of support. So this is exactly what you want to see if you are bullish on this equity. Additionally, we have stochastics in a very, very nice bullish posture. We can see how, strong to the upside they are still postured. And RSI back above the midline, kind of neutral here, but definitely crossed above its major EMA. So a good look also for the oscillator. So overall, this is looking pretty strong. I would say as long as price action can hold above the one-day 21, that's this yellow line, things are looking pretty good. Now let's take a look at the S&P, the broader market. We can see yesterday had a very, very strong bounce off of the horizontal at 411.61. We can very clearly see, based on price action over the last 10 days, that there is some strong buying and selling in this area. Additionally, at first we saw some sell pressure, and now we're seeing some very, very strong buy pressure off this 411 area. So the sell-off Monday and Tuesday of this week got bought up very heavily yesterday off this area, and today we're seeing a little bit of downside, but really nothing too concerning yet. We're only still 23 minutes into the day, so no real conclusive analysis off of this small candle so far. I would see the price action yesterday was pretty bullish, but we are very close to all-time high, so to see some tricky price action here wouldn't be so surprising. But ultimately, as long as price action is well above the one-day 21, there's no reason to be anything but bullish. The oscillators, on the other hand, though, we do see RSI getting rejected from entering the bull control zone and actually getting rejected from its EMA, so that's quite an interesting read. And we do see stochastics, crossing down in a bearish posture, but in the overbought region. So, they're very high in the range, which means it doesn't take a lot for them to cross down. But it is worth paying attention to, because if we do get stochastics to cross below the 80 marker and we have RSI in a bearish posture with the market breaking below, let's say 411, that would be your indication that things can get messy. But as long as price action's above 411 on SPY, things look pretty strong. And QQQ is pretty much the same. The area to watch is 336 on QQQ. We can see a very similar pattern to SPY, where we had previous resistance now turned into support over the last 2 weeks. That support, we can see we actually opened below that support yesterday, broke right through it, and closed well above it, closing at, I think the 6th highest close for QQQ ever. Today, a little bit of down action, but as long as we are above this 336 area, there's really no reason to be anything but bullish. With that said, the oscillator is giving basically the same read as on SPY. We see a rejection here from the EMA. We see stochastics very high in the range, crossing down and in a bearish posture. So the markets are giving bits of interesting reads, but still well above support. So it's not quite time to be anything but bullish at this moment. So thank you all for watching. If there's anything you would like me to take a look at, please feel free to post it in the comments, and please like and subscribe. Have a great day, Wall Street Bets New.